it back to the relationship conversation we were having a second ago. First of all, this is Let's Get Real, an interactive talk show for guys talking about feelings and rainbows and unicorns and actually, and truthful feelings, because that's the kind of the secret to it all. And being authentic and being vulnerable. Yay, men. Our phone number, 1-800-771-1025. My name is Shark, joined by Spanish in the studio. Good to see you, my friend. So we were talking last break, and I appreciate everything you said, just in the heat of battle with a wife. We tend to fly off the rails, and we forget that we actually are just trying to center ourselves, which is hard to do in that situation. But my friend told me, I was telling him about all this, and my friend told me, and I think it was his therapist that told him this, or maybe he saw it on YouTube. I don't know. But okay, let me see if I can get this right. So it wasn't him, but it was somebody he was telling me about. That's why I think it was his therapist told him this, is that a husband and wife, they typical husband and wife, they get along most of the time, but they also fight, is that both of them on their computers for their desktop image, they each have a picture of their respective husband, wife, whatever. But the picture that they have of the person is them as a little boy or a little girl.
Oh, I don't like that. That's cheating.
So they do that to remind themselves that when you're in the heat of the moment,
smart, very smart.
You're trying to have this knockdown, drag out fight, but what you're really doing is it's two inner children basically fighting because they're scared,
terrified.
Yeah, and I wish I would have had that information last Thursday night, but in hindsight, as I reflect on that, and I reflect on probably every fight that I've ever had with my wife, and I have this terrible affliction that I remember all of our fights. She doesn't remember it.
Yeah.
My guess is that my wife doesn't remember that we fought last Thursday night, and here I am talking about it on the radio.
Yeah.
She doesn't, and good for her. She can just move on. I can't. I stew in it, but in hindsight, as I was thinking about that, it's so true. It's when you're in that heat of the moment battle, and maybe at all times when you're nervous, anxious, not even fighting, but it's the inner child in all of us that's the one that's scared, the one that's showing up in that fight, showing up in that anxiety-riddled situation. Because what do we want? We're scared. We want shelter, safety, security, and especially those moments, it's not there. It's like all is wrong in the world in that moment.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're 100% right. And that's why I have become such a big fan of therapy and Carl Jung's process of individuation, because it's all just learning to take your inner child forward with you through life, but you protect it now as an adult so that when you do get into these fights with your wife or someone you love, you can still hold your inner child present with you and allow that softness to come through you, even though you're still angry, because the adult you will handle the anger, but you let your inner child speak from truth and love. And that connection, bringing those two, your adult self and your inner child with you, that's integration. That's what the self is. All those things coming together. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because, I do believe, I don't know, how do I say this? We are, as men, but I think as people, how we show up, our fears, anxieties, scare, all of that stuff, all the lies that our mind tells us comes from something that happened when we were a kid.
Yeah.
When I went through, when I actually became certified as a coach, what I didn't realize is that certification process, to actually learn how to coach, the way they do it is they basically tear you down and then they build you back up again.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah.
But the ICF is the International Coaching Federation. So to be an ICF school, you have to, you can only coach somebody. I learned this. You can only coach somebody as far as you've been coached. So if you're going to be coached, and it's not, it sounds terrible, they're going to break you down. And it's not that. Mm-hmm. It's just okay, what are your own personal self-limiting beliefs? And one of the things I learned was that a lot of times those self-limiting beliefs came from when you were 12 months old.
Yeah, and they're not real.
Right. It's something happened to you.
Yeah.
Mom didn't even realize she took your teddy bear away, and now you have abandonment issues, or you've got the need to hold on to people really tight because mom took your teddy bear away at 12 months old. And it's like generally when you're an infant and something like that happens, it shapes you for the rest of your life. So you're like working on this for the rest of your life. Where does this come from? Because when you were a kid, something happened.
Yeah, but it's, it's true. And I wish that more people, as they got older, understood what you just said, which is the self-limiting beliefs. That's not reality. That's an event that happened that hit your nervous system so hard that your brain did the only thing your brain knows how to do, which is learn to protect you. So it gave you abandonment issues because it didn't want you to ever experience that pain again. So now you push people away because you're afraid of that pain. That doesn't make you broken, weak, sad, or unlovable. That simply means you have a wound that you need to tend to, and you have the ability to tend to it. And if you don't, well, that's when the things happen to you. Like they say, the universe will give you the same lesson over and over again until you learn it and can move on.
Yeah. And I don't know. I spend a lot of time thinking about balancing and I don't know, oscillating between what is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning in this life to, I don't know that I'm supposed to learn a lesson. I'm just kind of rolling with all this.
Boom. There you go. That's the second one. Always.
Yeah.
Always, dude.
I do. I think it's like we were talking about off air, and I would actually like to spend an entire break talking about the idea that we brought up before, which is that this is just a game.
It is a game, but I almost hate the word game because it insinuates a winner and a loser.
That's true.
It's simply just supposed to be a play. It's supposed to be fun. I love the quote, "We take seriously what the gods made for fun," because it's so true, man. At the end of the day, all of this is rentals. It's all temporary. Yeah. We don't take any of it with us. None of it lasts. Don't try not to get attached. If you do get attached, who cares? Let it happen. Let yourself just live, let yourself feel everything. Don't beat yourself up. I know it's way easier said than done to not beat yourself up. But there's a Brad Pitt quote that I love from that F1 movie where he says, don't do everybody's job for you. Let them beat you up.
Okay, never saw the movie.
Oh, great movie.
I'm sure it is. I mean, F1 is the world's most popular sport.
Yeah, it is truly a heartwarming movie.
Really?
I didn't cry, but I got my eyes watered at the end.
I heard it's Days of Thunder for like 2020.
Oh, no, Days of Thunder is amazing. And he bangs the doctor. Brad Pitt ain't banging no doctor in this one, I'll tell you that.
It's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
Boy, we are just destined to talk about movies on this.
I know, I love it.
No, but like back to the inner child thing is like it's all play.
Yeah.
It's all
supposed
play.
To be fun.
Right. But we have a thing inside of us. And it wasn't until we started doing the show that I started to appreciate like the power of the inner child.
Yeah.
And what that means and what that represents in all of us. Like why we get scared, why we have self-limiting beliefs, why we have anxiety, why we have regret and shame and all that. It's because something happened to us when we were a kid.
Yeah. And we haven't processed it yet. It's literally stored in your nervous system.
Yeah. And so like it shows up when you're, it happened to you when you're 18 months and it's showing up when you're 50.
Yeah.
Because you never really processed it.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the way to process it is just to realize that, hey, we're all dealing with something.
Yeah, man. You got to that is it. To give yourself some grace. Some people can't relive the pain, and that's okay. Sometimes you don't have to relive it to tend to a wound. I am not that way. I'm very much head straight into the storm because I like to figure things out immediately. Yes. But when it comes to your inner child, I truly believe this, and this is why I hate people on Instagram and people that say they're spiritual and they're like, you got to kill your ego to really, get to where you need to be. I don't believe that. I believe firmly in order to move forward as a whole, as the self, you have to go back and pick up the pieces you left behind. Yeah. And you do that with grace and love and compassion for yourself. And that's just it.
Yeah, I totally, yeah. And like you just said, and we've said a lot on the show, the things that we talk about are much easier said.
Yes.
They're much easier said than done. And it's easy. I don't know. It's easy for us to talk about it, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not easy for us to talk about it. Maybe we're the only ones talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's another show on the radio like this.
I doubt that.
I
very
doubt
much.
that seriously. I really do. But they're like, just to be able to say that, to say like, okay, I have a thing inside. I have fear and scarcity that probably comes from when I was a kid, and I heard over and over and over again from my parents, like, we can't afford that, or we can't do that, we can't do that. So now I carry that throughout my life. Now, the one thing I will say is as a father, and I think I've shared this on the show before, but as a father, when my son was 12 months old, 6 months old actually, I felt myself like wanting to like not hit my kid, but I was frustrated. I had a 6-month-old who wouldn't sleep, so I was frustrated. And like I was like, oh wait, that's what my dad did to me a lot. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that to my son.
That's beautiful.
So I didn't. So still got frustrated at him.
Yeah, but that's growth. That's literally
I guess
growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's you stopping yourself from continuing a pattern or a behavior that was instilled in you. That's big, man. That's not something that is small or should be diminished. That's a real life example of you having the self-awareness and the courage to name something and the strength to move forward and leave that behind, because that's not something you want to bring with you.
No, I didn't. And I appreciate you saying that. That's now 2 breaks in a row where you've said something to lift me up.
Of course.
Thanks.
That's what I'm here for, man.
That's really, we don't need callers.
Nah.
It's just you lifting me up.
You want me to go in the other room and call you?
No.
Okay.
I kind of like the fact that you're sitting right next to me tonight. No, but if somebody else want to call, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. Let's see if we make it 3 breaks in a row.
Yeah.
I do actually though, so little bit of a story that I'll share next is that last Sunday morning I went to church for the very first time.
I am so excited to talk about this. You have no idea. I know on the outside it seems that I'm not excited. I'm excited.
I went to church, and one of the things that happened actually before I went to church, and I'll tell you the whole story. Like churches, that was a much different experience than I anticipated. But I really like this conversation that life is just play.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a thread that we've pulled out before, but I want to pull out again. Maybe if no other reason, I want to be reminded of it.
Good.
I want to be reminded that we are rentals.
Yeah, man.
You like that?
You like
I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just rentals.
Yeah.
And like we get so bogged down in whether it's inner child stuff or bills to pay or the IRS, you got to pay them money and all this stuff. And it's like, it's just a game.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's not.
We're just here to play.
Yeah, and it's all gonna be over one day, and then who cares, anyways? I sometimes have a hard time talking to people about death because I have such a different view about it. But I can relate to people because I will say it's just supposed to play. I mean, I understand things can get serious and things can get bad and things can get out of hand or depressing, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still choosing to participate in those emotions. You can choose otherwise. Is it easy? No. Is it going to take practice? Yes. Will you come out on the other side unscathed? No, but you're not supposed to, because you're a human being and you're supposed to feel all of it on your journey through life, because why not?